Hi guys, and welcome to Visual C++ of how to connect to MySql, and this is just an overview. Now, I've been able to upload all the data straight onto my DataGridView. This is just the DataGridView, and one thing we can do here is we can search if we want. So let's search for Esther. We search by the first name. There we go. And we can also go back to the old data. Okay, just click on this and you'll be back to the data. You can search for whatever name you want. Let's search for Sunny. There. Back to the full data. We can exit. And right here we have time and we also have the date. Okay guys, let's exit out of the system and start a new project. I'm going to click on the exit again and just click on yes. There we go. So I'm going to minimize this and let's start a new project. Right here, let's click on create new project. And right here where we have create new project, I'm going to make sure I select C++, make sure that it's selected and come right underneath here, select next. And right there, I'm going to give that a name. I'm going to call it CPP MySql, or let's just say, yeah, MySql Connect. There. That's the name of my project. I will now click on create. There we go. Okay, now that my development environment is ready, select the name of the project right here, that is it, and make sure you either right click on it and select properties, or make sure it's selected, select this icon there and click on that, and this dialog box pops up. If you don't have a 64-bit here, you can always change it if you are using 32-bit. So I'm using 64-bit, so I'm going to leave my 64-bit. Now the next thing you do is you go to right here. You see where we have configuration properties. Let's select linker, drop it down. Right inside the linker, select system, and now let's come to subsystem right there. Click on that, drop it down, and let's select Windows, subsystem Windows. Click on advanced now, right there. Inside the linker, let's select advanced, and now let's come right here. You see where we have enter point. Change the enter point. I'm just going to give that a name. I'll call it main. There. Now click on apply and then click on OK. There we go. Now the next thing we want to do is right click on the name again and let's select add. Let's go for add new items. Right inside the new item, you either select UI or you can select CLI. I'm going to select UI and look at the name, myform.h. I'm going to leave mine as myform.h, but make sure Windows Form is selected. Myform.h, that's the name of my project. Now the name of the form, click on add. There we go, that's myform.h. Nothing is happening. Let's go back to the Solution Explorer. Now here is myform.h. You can see the error. So what we need to do next is we now need to add some couple of lines of code here to get the form ready. So what I'm going to do is there is a forum that I'm going to show to you guys, and I will also include a link of the forum on my description area. Here is the forum. If you come right up here, follow the instruction on this forum, it will actually show you guys how to create your form using C++. And at the end of the day, you need these lines of codes right here. Look at it. I'm going to copy it. Let's copy those lines of codes. Come right in there, paste those lines of code right there. Paste. There we go. Now we have an error. All I need to do is to change the name of my form with this very error in there. That's the name of this very one. So let's just come in here and enter CPP MySql Connect. There, and the error should go now. There we go. There goes the error. You can save that and you can run it now. Okay, we have an error. I purposely want you guys to see this error. Okay, now it's telling me about the enter point. Let's see. Alright, right there, that's the error saying enter point must be defined. Let's go back to the Solution Explorer. Select, make sure the name of your program is selected, and let's click on the properties. Let's come right down here now. Okay, subsystem is fine. Let's check out the advanced. Right inside the advanced, enter point is defined. That's cool. So now let's go into the configuration manager, select that. One thing is, look, we have 32 here. Let's change that to 64-bit. There we go. And I'm going to change this one as well to 64-bit. That is fine. Yeah, and this very one, I'm going to change it to debug. Make sure you have debug there. Let's be sure we have debug in here as well. And that's fine. I'm going to click on OK now. So let's come back in and just try it out. Run the program. There we go. And that's our form, guys. So it's working the way we want. So I'm now going to close everything. Okay, because we need to be able to click on the very form here. The form is not right there. So the next thing we will have to do is to close the whole program. Okay, I will now close the program. Just come up here, close. It's more or less like you're refreshing it actually. Now you have to open the program again. That's my project, right? And there we go. And I have my form right there. If you go back to the Solution Explorer, this is what you will see. You will now be able to see your form right there. Okay, we can now select this form. Let's go straight to the properties. Let's minimize this. Come here to the properties. Let's just change the size of that to 1386 by 788, and that's it, done. Now let's come straight to the toolbox. Inside the toolbox, I need a DataGridView. There we go. I have my DataGridView there. Let's just set it down much and bring it right down. Okay, that's cool. Now back in here, I need a button here and a text box. One text box here that we use for search, and make sure it's multi-line. Then the next one is I need a label. Let's grab a label, L. Add a label here, and I need two labels here actually. Two labels right underneath here. I'll use that for date and time. Hold on to your control, click, drag. One, drag another one, two. Let's just bring both of them down. One here and one here. Okay, let's copy the button as well. Click and drag. Hold on to the control, just click and drag. Drag that much. Hold on to control, click and drag. So just copy that as well. Yeah, that's fine. Alright. Okay, that's fine. Now let's increase the size of that. Go to the properties. I'm just going to make that about 28. Okay, let's make it about 22. Bold 22. There. And change this one to exit. Let's pin this down. That will be exit. And the name will be btn exit. There. I'm going to call this display. btn display. There we go. Now, these two labels, let's change their details. I'm going to change that to 12 bold. 12 bold. There we go. Bring this down a little bit. and the one below I'm going to call that date, LBL date. The one on top we will call LBL time. Now let's add a timer. Come straight to the properties here, scroll right down, and let's double click on the timer there. Now I have my timer right here. Double click on the timer there, and right in here, let's collapse this. Right here I'm just going to enter details of my timer there. So right inside the timer, let's say date dt. So that is the object for the timer, equals date, and there, that's the method for the timer. Okay, now I'm going to say LBL timer, and arrow text box equals dt dot now dot to long, and that is for the timer. Enter parentheses, that takes care of that. Now I might as well just copy all of this. I'm going to use it for mine. I'm going to use that for the dates. Come in here, click on that, double click on the form itself, and right there inside the form, let's just paste that. Okay, so let's change the name of these to LBL date, and I'm going to also change this method here. Let's change that to dates. Okay, then the next thing is let's initialize the timer 1, an arrow, and let's ask it to start there, right there. Okay, that takes care of the date and time. Okay, let's try it out now. So I'm going to come in here. Oh, wait a minute, let's change this. This is meant to be display. Okay, so let's run the program now and see how that's going to look like. There we go, and that is my timer right there. You might not be able to see it properly. I just need to move it in a little bit. Okay, that's fine. Alright, so let's come right down here and just move the timer, and the date and time, we'll just move them in a little bit. Yeah, that's not bad. Alright, the next thing I'm going to do now is I'm going to take care of these two buttons here, and even that very button up there, we need to increase the font size. Just move all of this here. So let's take care of this button, increase the font size, make that about 20 there, and let's change the name of that very button to BTM search. And the text box will be known as TXT search. Let's come right down here and properties, TXT search. Right. I'm going to increase the font size of that one as well to, let's make that 20 as well. I think I'm just going to make it regular. Change this to regular as well. There. Okay. Alright. We're getting somewhere. Now let's take care of this exit. Double click on the exit. Now in here, so let's just say system. That will be system Windows. System Windows column form, and column dialog result. Yeah, at my dialog result, I'm going to give it a variable called iExit. There we go. So let's say iExit equals message box column show, and what I want it to show, I'm just going to enter confirm if you want to exit. Now let's give my project a name here, because this has to take 4 arguments. So this is going to be, let's just call it CPP Connect. That's my second argument. The third argument is going to be message box buttons, and the message box buttons is going to be yes or no. Column yes or no. Let's break this into 2. Now the next argument, that is going to be message box icon, and the icon I intend to use, I'm going to use information. There we go. Enter semicolon there and press enter. Then we use an if statement to validate the selection made. If I exit equals system, let's say system, let's copy all of this instead of me writing the whole lot. Let's paste that in here. If that is equals to yes, then we want the application to exit. Application.exit. Application column exit. There we go. So exit is taken care of there. Now let's do one thing quick, and that is to do with the database itself. Okay, let's come straight to the Solution Explorer here. You see right here we have our reference. Right click on that very reference. Now click on add reference. You must do this to get your MySql. Right click, add reference. Inside add reference, see right here, make sure the assembly is selected and come right here and just enter MySql, and there we go. That is it right there. Okay, we search for it. Let's search for it right there. Press enter. There we go. That's it. And make sure you check it right here. You see the check button? Make sure it's checked and click on OK, and that will be automatically added onto your Solution Explorer. Click on OK. There we go. My SQL data is added to my Solution Explorer. Now let's go back into the program. Oh, before then, let's change this. Let's change the size of that and enter some data in there. Okay, that is that taken care of. Now let's double click on our form. So let's go right up here on the form. We need to import the following. So I'm going to say using namespace. I'm just going to copy that, come right down here. That is to get my MySqL to get the library connected. So double, and then let's enter data, and now we need our client. So another double column, we need MySqL client, and then enter semicolon. That is it. Now the next thing that I want to do is you come right down here, right underneath your project name. Remember, my form is called My Form. I did not change the name, you guys can still recall. And right underneath there, I'm going to create the following constructor. Now the very first one is going to be known as MySqL. That will be connection. There we go. And since I need like an object for it, I'm going to call it SQL con there equals GC new MySqL. Just copy it right there. That is it. And paste it here. And I just enter semicolon. There we go. That is the first one taken care of. So I'm going to copy this, and I need that for my command. I need a command here, so I'm going to change this to command. And change this to command as well. There we go. Then change the name of these to give that a different name. There. So that is my second constructor. Now let's say table, data table. Data table, I'm going to call my data table, I'll just call it SQL DT equals GCN data table. There we go. That is taken care of as well. Now the next one is going to be MySQL adapt. So come right there, paste that in there, just change this one to adapt. That would be MySQL data adapter. Copy all of these and come in here, just paste it right there. And let's change the name. So I can just call that maybe DTA, uppercase. Alright, now I'm now going to create a reader for it. So let's say MySQL, that would be data reader. Where is it? Right there, data reader, and I'll just call that SQL RD. There we go. So I have all the connectors in place. Okay, the constructor, everything is ready now. Okay, now let's go straight into my form. Right inside my form, that's what I will use to initialize the system itself. So double click on the form, and right inside the form you can still recall my dates and so on is there, and we have initialized my timer. So I'm going to press enter. So let's come in here. The first thing I want to do is I'm going to say MySQL connect equals, no, it's not equals, it's an arrow. So the arrow is my connection string, this very one. Okay, and I'll then say equals. Now the very first thing I want to make possible will be the data source. So I'm going to say data source equals localhost. Now localhost. So if you guys don't know what the localhost is, let me just open up my SQL itself. That's my SQL itself, and if I click on here, you see this property here like a range. So that is my host in there. That's my port, username, and the password that I'm going to be using. Everything is right there for me. Okay, to get into the system, all you just need to do is, if you have one of these, you should know how to do this by now. So if I get in there, just enter my password, and that will take me straight into my database that I've already developed. I've used this database in Visual Basic. I've used it in C# as well, and that is it right there. EMP. Select the EMP and the table. That's it. Open up the table itself, and those are the data I intend to connect to my database. So I'm going to minimize this. I believe you guys have a good idea of how to use my SQL workbench. So minimize that. Now I'm carrying out all the connectors, all the connections now. So I've actually entered one there. So enter semicolon. The next one is going to be the port. My port is 3306. I think almost everybody's port is 3306. You can always change that if you want. Then semicolon, and next one is going to be the username. The username I'm going to call that is root. Another semicolon. Oh, let's do this. Enter semicolon, space, backslash, press enter so that we have enough room to carry out this activity. Now the next one, I have password. Enter my password there. Okay, KC. There, that's my password. Now semicolon, and the next one is going to be my database, and the database is called EMP, which stands for employer. Alright, that is it, all done. Okay, so just enter semicolon there. There we go. Now the next thing is I'm going to call my connector here. So I want it to open up. So connector, open there. Now let's call my MySql command. Get the arrow in. Let's say connection. That will be my connector. There. Now the next thing is going to be MySql command dash, and that is going to be for the command text. Let's complete that so that we can get our command text in. Command text there, and the command text this time around is the SQL. The SQL statement, select from EMP, that's my database there, and let's just enter semicolon there. Select all from my database called EMP. Now we are almost there. So the next one is, let's get it executed, but we'd have to read it first. SQL read rd, I call that, equals SQL command, and it asks it to get it executed. Execute the reader, this one. Let's get rid of this. That's meant to be execute reader. Okay, now the next thing is going to be, we now need the data itself. So SQL data table dash, we want it to load up. And what are we loading up? We want you to load up data inside the reader here. Paste that in there and close that. Now we want to close the reader because we finished with it. Dots, that will be dash close. We finished with the reader, so we close that up. We also need to close this very one. Close the connect. Once that is closed, now we want my DataGridView, this very one here. Might as well get the name instead of typing it all. Copy that. We want that to display whatever we have inside our database there, and that will be data source equals, it's going to be reading from data table. Paste that right in there because it was loaded and then stored inside data table. Alright, so just enter semicolon in there, and that is all there is to that. Okay, let's run this project and see. So right up here, that is where I call the SQL library there, and here I have my constructor, and on the form This is where I get it initialized on the form right there. Okay, let's run it and see how that's gonna look like. Click on this, run. There we go, and that's it. But we have a problem. The DataGridView is not full up, so let's take care of that. I'm going to stop that. Let's go straight to the design, select the DataGridView, and let's go straight to the properties here, and then we need to come to the categorize right there. Click on categorize, this very one, and let's scroll right down to layer. Oh, that's it right there. Now inside the layer we need this property. Okay, auto size column mode, we want you to fill it out. There we go. So I'm going to run it again. Make sure you select fill, and I'll run it again, and let's see. And there we go, guys. Okay, now let's take care of this search button there. Okay, now here select the search, that very button. I'm going to change that name to search here. There, and this one already has a name. So I want to be able to search with the text box as well, so I'll go straight to the properties. I will now select event. On that very event, let's select key press right here. Double click on the key press, and right there press enter. Okay, let's reduce this. Okay, press enter, and we will now enter the following lines of code for that. So I'm going to use try cache. Let's use try cache, and let's just enter cache in here as well. And that is going to be exception. EX. There we go. And the cache, that will close this. The cache, that will be, let's just display the following message. Message box, column show EX. That will be error message from the system itself. Right, that's it. That takes care of that. So let's just close that. And in here now, let's get the text box to search whatever is entered. So I'm going to use if e dash key char equals, that will be char or character. Close that. If it's 13 actually means carriage return. Now this should be equals. There we go. Now press enter. Let's enter curly braces there, and that is going to be, I'm going to declare, let's just create like one method here, and I'll just call that dv, and that very dv, I'm going to just give it my own name, SQL DT. So dv, that's the name I gave to it. So SQL DT, which stands for data table, that will be my default viewer. Okay, and this very viewer is now stored inside DT. So I'm now going to say DT dash rule filter, and this rule filter equals string column. Let's get it formatted, and we want to search by looking into the column with the first name, the column that is called first name, and like apostrophe. Let's enter percent here, curly braces, 0 curly braces, percent and apostrophe, and come out of there, enter comma. And where are we getting our data from? We're getting it from the text box, and that will be text. Close that. Now we need to display everything inside our DataGridView. DataGridView, whatever the result is, we want you to display it in DataGridView 1. And the DataGridView will find this information inside data source. Okay, equals, we need the data source there, it's uppercase here, and that will be found inside dv dash to table, there we go, there it is, enter parentheses, and there we go, that takes care of that. So that is for key press. I'm just going to copy all of this. Let's copy everything now. Enter that on my button as well. Where is the button? Come on. Double click on this very button. Inside the button, paste that in there and get rid of this. That will give us an error. Yeah, so that is fine because that's a click event. It's not a key press event. So that is fine. I will also, yeah, and I can also take care of it. That's a click event. I can take care of a keyboard event as well. Make sure the button is selected and come right down here. Go to event and let's look for key press. That's it, key press. There. Press enter. Just paste that same lines of code in there as the event key press and just paste that in there. Right, so either way we can now search either by clicking or by pressing the keyboard. Let's run it and see. There we go, guys. So we can search. Let's say we enter pool and we can just click on this. There we go. Now we cannot refresh yet, so we need to take care of that. So end that. So let's come straight to the form and let's select that very button, double click on that very button and write in there. Let's say this, that will be hide. I want it to hide that very one. And the next thing is I'm going to create an object here, so I'll call it form, my form. If you guys can still recall the very name of my form, I'm just going to call that my form. Okay, let's just call that maybe connector or whatever. Connector, that's the name of the form, equals gc new my form. There we go. And now the form that is called, that I call connector, you can call it whatever you like. I just call it connector dash show. There. And that's it. Okay, you can call this whatever you want. Just call it connector, or can even change it to maybe main, because I've already declared main. Okay, I'll call it main form or whatever. That's fine. So I don't want to get you guys confused. So ordinary main is fine. So now I run the program now. Now decision time. I'm going to search. Let's search for anybody. Let's go for Tony. and search for Tony. There we go, we have 2 Tonys there. We can then click on display the data again. Now let's search for someone else. As for George, click, we have George Floyd. Rest in peace, my man. Refresh. There we go. So with that, guys, I'm going to call it the end of this C++ tutorial. I suppose you guys enjoyed it. And there will be more tutorial on how to connect to MySQL using Visual C++. With that, I'm going to say bye for now, and you guys, you all have a nice day, and please do subscribe to my channel, and you can also join to become a member of the channel. There's a lot of benefits if you're a member. You all have a nice day now, and bye for now.